What's good, YouTube? Vakasa Coffee here. So we're diving into some more stand-up comedy for you guys. Dr. Cap requested this. This is Randy Feltface. This is Randy Buys a Bookshelf off Gumtree. I was told that Gumtree is the equivalent to Craigslist. So I'm sure this is going to be interesting. These kind of stories are always interesting with stand-up. This is a longer video, so I'm not going to ramble on to you guys in the beginning here. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe for me. We talk about mental health, addiction, world issues, everything in between. We're here for some laughs with this one. You guys said that you would enjoy if I did some more stand-up on here. So Dr. Cap gave us a really nice long bit of stand-up to check out here. I love stand-up. It's always good to have some laughs, and I'm glad that we're going to get to have some of that on the channel now that one of you guys requested it, and now we got some more requests for some stand-up comedy. Very excited to implement stand-up comedy into part of our videos so that we can all have some laughs and unwind together. That's what it's all about. I appreciate you guys building this awesome community with me where we can share the blessings, share the happy moments together, listen to some awesome music, have some laughs together. If you're going through anything, whether it's a mental health struggle, an addiction struggle, or you're just having a stressful time in your life, come hang out in the live chats during the premiere. Joke around with everybody, get to know everybody. It's a great time. It's a positive community. Everybody has a good time joking around with each other, talking about how their day goes. If you want to let us know what you're going through, we can provide some advice if you're comfortable with that. We've all been through things, pulled ourselves out of holes in life. I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic, so I know all about what it's like to pull yourself out of those holes whenever you're feeling desperate and having a tough time inside of your life. So please don't hesitate to reach out for help, especially professional help. There are people on the channel here as well that work inside of mental health, and they've provided some awesome advice to people on the channel and to me as well. And I'm glad that we can provide a source of inspiration to the world through a channel like this. It's a blessing to have this platform, and it's a blessing to have all of you here. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get into it. I'm Vakasa Coffee. A reaction video a day or two. Keep the doctor away. Fuck those apples. This is Randy Felttree buying a bookshelf off Gumtree.
Okay, fuck. Okay, here we go. Okay. Walking to Sky, Chapter 1. I bought a bookshelf on Gumtree recently. It was an amazing experience. I'll quickly tell you about it and then I'll read the book. But I found it strange because it made me start to think about the way like our methods of communication have sort of changed over the years. You know, in the old days, if you wanted a bookshelf, you'd just go see Gareth the bookshelf guy because he was the dude in your tribe that made the bookshelves. He had a little bookshelf cave. He was reputable. Now any mad bastard can sell their shit on Gumtree. You know what I mean? As a species, we're sort of able to cope with knowing and gossiping about around like 100 or 150 people. That's like the limit of our tribe. Any more than that, it starts to get confusing, which is why we created abstract...
That's true right there. That's true. The more people that you have around you, the harder it is to analyze situations and know who you can trust inside of them. That's facts right there. Humans work better in smaller circles when it comes to a personal level of comfortability. I like that observation.
constructs like territories and deities to unite larger groups of people under an imaginary common factor. And it works a treat because we only really gather en masse on special occasions. But I think like social media and it's fucking all that up, you know? I don't think we're able to deal with the thousands of people we're connected to on a daily basis, and as a result we neglect our immediate...
It is crazy to think about. Sorry for interrupting this again. I just want to throw this in here real quick. It's crazy to think about, like, people can have millions upon millions of followers now that they interact with daily. The amount of interaction that is for a brain to wrap itself around, it takes a special kind of person to navigate that and stay successful inside of it without having a mental breakdown. And I commend every person that is at that level of success and has sat inside of it gracefully. And that is many people in the world, right? It is many people in the world that have gotten to that level of success, and you see them still happy and still able to navigate life properly. And I think that's just something you learn as it grows, right? You learn more and more as it grows, and you just implement it all by the time you're there. It builds character, really. But yeah, it's an insane thing to think about how easy it is to connect to just millions of people, right?
At 150, you know? That's why I never get invited to parties anymore. It's not because I ramble on about veganism and fisting old ladies.
Oh,
It's because I'm not on Facebook and everybody just assumes you are. I am so behind on the births, deaths and marriages of my friends that I feel like the time traveler's wife every time I go to a party. I'm like, this is Tim, he's our son, he's 6 now.
Wow.
Didn't even know you were pregnant.
Yeah, life is like that. Man, he's making some comedic observations about the reality of life. I appreciate this.
Anyway, and you know smartphones aren't that great. You know that, right? They're not. They're not that great. You don't need the internet in your pocket. You work at Coles, okay? You're not working for the president. You don't need it. You don't need that much information. And also, what was the point of developing opposable thumbs for you to take a photo of your head and post it on the internet and then just stand by for validation? No one gives a...
I love this. I love this. It's facts, man. It's facts. It's like... so many people lack basic skills of how to, like, there's probably more people in the new generation that don't know how to swing a hammer than do, right? And I mean, I guess that kind of boils down to parenting and stuff like that at the end of the day, but it's just everybody looking at their phone all the time, right? Even, I mean, shit, you even get videos of construction work on fucking cell phones now. Even they're doing it. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe from it. Everybody, right? We got like presidents of the country taking selfies and stuff, you know? That's just the climate that we are in. I love this, though. I love the comedy that he is putting into it. It's very true.
Fuck about your head. They'll only validate it in order to gain permission to post a photo of their own head on the internet and stand by for validation. The people who give a fuck about your head will at some point see it in real life. Fuck your head and the neck it rode in on. Your vanity is sucking up my bandwidth. Anyway, this is what's going through my head as I'm on Gumtree looking for a bookshelf, because you know when you put something in the search in Booktree, what the fuck? When you put something in the search on Gumtree, I'm having a stroke up here. Yeah, when you put something in the search, right, and like, there's always a couple of things that come up in the list that are like the polar opposite of what you search for. I'm like, get out of my head, Gumtree algorithms, conspiracy. No, but seriously, you type, it's like bookshelf, and it's like bookshelf, 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 gramophone, bookshelf, 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 combine harvester. What the fuck? That's actually a pretty good.
Yeah, you get some random shit sometimes to be like, what the fuck would I even need that thing for, right? It's weird. The algorithm is strange, man.
Good price. Anyway, on this particular day, I found 2 bookshelves that worked for me in terms of cost and, more importantly, geographical convenience, because I'd be fucked if I'm driving to Broadmeadows to pick up a bookshelf, right? So I type in bookshelf and I see the 2 things and I'm like, okay, one seller is Kathy, the other is Morgan. I send them both the same text message. Hello, I saw your bookshelf on Gumtree. Is it still available? Kathy texts back straight away saying, sorry, it went this morning. That's cool, Kathy. I'm sorry I gave you an annoying voice in the retelling of this story. Morgan's response came through a couple of minutes later and simply read, it was my wife's bookshelf.
Oh boy.
How do you respond to that? Aside from the fact that it doesn't answer my fucking question, his use of past tense in that sentence unnerved me slightly. I'm like,
Yeah, that's a heavy way to start a sale with somebody. It was my wife's bookshelf as the first lead of a answer to the question, is it available? I would be like, oh boy, we're gonna have to settle in for a story here on the way to pick this up, you know what I mean?
oh, I should probably just find another bookshelf. And then I noticed he lived in the suburb next to me, so I replied, is it still available? He responded with the letter Y. Just a Y? Is he asking me why I want to know if it's still available? Or is it a Y for yes, and he's so in the throes of grief that he can't manage the E and the S? I assume it's a Y for yes, so I respond, cool, I'll take it. When's a good time to come and pick it up? No reply for 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, he's forgotten about me, fuck it, I'll find another bookshelf. And then when his reply actually does come through, I realise he spent those 15 minutes crafting his response because it's a fucking thesis. He must have felt so bad about only using a single consonant in his previous text that he just massively overcompensated with this one. Also, for some reason, felt that the use of punctuation, entirely unnecessary.
Oh,
so it's just one obscenely long sentence, which reads...
It's just an ocean of text with no punctuation. It is so hard to read that. Your brain starts to confuse itself when there's no sentence structure inside of what you're reading, or even when you're writing lyrics or something, you always have that space there where the next bar drops down below, right? And it's like that organizes it. A run-along sentence with no punctuation, that's just a whole paragraph. The brain is like, what the hell is going on with this grammar?
You must come and pick up now. I only have short time here at house and also it wide. So bring van or trailer and there stair. But I can help you carry downstairs. If you come park out front, walk up past ring bell, and I will help you carry it to trailer or van. I only accept cash. And if you do not come now, I will sell it someone else.
When you get the I sell it someone else, not even with a 2. I know that message, man. God, the accuracy. This is so accurate.
Again, I'm thinking, I should just find another bookshelf at this point. But now I am fascinated by Morgan, and I simply must meet the man. So I drive over to his house. Oh, before I left, I sent him a message saying, cool, I'll be there in 10 minutes. He replied, okay, but spelt it O-K-A-Y, which just fascinated me more that he'll use 4 letters to spell a 2-letter word, but only 1 letter to spell a 3-letter word. Morgan is off the fucking chain!
Funny,
and as
man.
I'm driving over to his house, I'm trying to picture what he's going to be like, you know. His pidgin English might suggest ethnicity of some sort, but I don't want to racially profile him. Maybe he's an old man who recently lost his wife and is not that very good at texting. Or maybe, and I'm really hoping this is the case, Morgan is just batshit crazy. So I get to his house and...
Yeah, when you get one of them, you know it's gonna be an interesting night, right? Sometimes, yeah, like he says, he's like, at this point, I'm looking forward to the events of my day, right?
I go up to I park out front, walk up past ring bell, and I brace myself for the door to be opened by an old man in a smoking jacket, wearing fishnet stockings and suspenders, just puffing on an opium pipe, while a butler just creepily polishes a goldfish in the background.
These descriptors are awesome. He's got a cool style. I understand why you requested this. This is very good comedy. This is very descriptive comedy. Very, very awesome right here.
And then a tiny pug dog wearing a fez hat just trots up the hallway, sits on the mat, looks up at me and says, "Welcome to our lovely room." And then the door opens and I am thoroughly disappointed. Before me stands an average Caucasian male in his mid-30s, dressed casually, hipster chic, stubble, glasses with designer frames, expensive watch. I immediately think architect, but the house is too cheesy for that. It's like a double-storey doll's house with bay windows, but definitely a designer of some kind, maybe a graphic designer. He's too skinny for manual labour. He's too hip for the public sector. But this can't be Morgan. Because Morgan's text messages would suggest that he's not that technically savvy. And then the man...
This is a confusing situation.
Standing in front of me says, "Hello, my name's Morgan." And the plot thickens! He invites me in, shakes my hand, closes the door, and 20 minutes later, I will be witnessing Morgan perform some of the most aggressive acts of violence I've ever seen in my life, and I will be speeding away in my car, bleeding from the face.
What?
Here's how this shit went down.
Perfect suspense and storytelling, man. I love it.
I go into the house and I notice two things immediately. One, this is a house in the throes of renovation. Nothing too extreme, but there's like drop sheets on all the furniture, there's freshly painted walls, there's a bathtub wrapped in plastic in the hallway awaiting installation. Someone's doing some work on this house. The second thing I notice, on the way up the stairs to the second floor, on the first floor landing, is a wedding photograph featuring a very cleanly shaven Morgan with a very beautiful bride. Very much in love. The photograph is very much on the floor and the glass in the frame is very much smashed. She's not dead, she's left him, and the plot thickens a bit more for Morgan. And as Morgan unceremoniously, kicks the photo frame to one side on the way up the stairs, I really wanted to pry into Morgan's life and ask heaps of inappropriate questions. But he was clearly a broken man. He had this terrible air of sadness around him, so I didn't want to intrude. Luckily for me, though, I didn't have to, because Morgan immediately began oversharing and told me the whole fucking story. Thank you, Morgan!
Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes it happens. It's always a great one. You never know what to expect, man.
I shall hang off your every word and then retell your tale to 200 strangers and record it for a fucking DVD. He is a graphic designer, yes, and he's really good at it. He does massive rebranding campaigns for large corporations. He gets flown all over the world doing this shit, right? About 4 years ago, a woman hired Morgan to rebrand her florist business, and he did such a great job, she married him. And he thought everything was just fine, until about 3 months ago. Morgan had to do a presentation in Sydney, right? But he was on his way home from overseas and he got stuck in Dubai due to a flight cancellation. So rather than cancel the meeting, Morgan suggested to these businessmen in Sydney that they do a Skype chat because he's so technologically savvy despite his fucking baffling text message style. So Morgan checks into a hotel, cracks open his laptop and starts Skyping with this room full of businessmen in Sydney who are all watching Morgan on a massive screen on their boardroom wall, right? And everything's going great. Morgan is totally nailing it until about halfway through, he realises that a file he wants to show these dudes is on the desktop of his home computer back in his home office in Melbourne. And he decides to live share the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat. He knows how to do that. He can control his computer remotely from anywhere in the world. It's not particularly new technology, but Morgan makes it sound so impressive. So this room full of businessmen are all watching keenly Margaret, bring in some biscuits. There's some newfangled shit going on in here. As Morgan clicks a few buttons and brings up the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat. Now, what Morgan doesn't realise is that his wife has been using the photo booth app on that particular computer to take pictures of herself. To take naked pictures of herself. To take naked pictures of herself doing some pretty fucked up shit. It's embarrassing, to say the least. Just as Margaret came back in with the biscuits, I've got you the... Now, those of you who are familiar with the Photo Booth app will know that how it works is it accesses the built-in camera in your computer and with a click of a button, takes a photo of you when you're standing in front of the screen. And if you know that, you'll also know that if you leave that application open, the camera also stays open, witnessing whatever may be happening in front of the computer in real time. Such as your wife, in your home office, fucking your best mate.
Ouch. Ouch, man. I figured it was going there. I figured we were gonna get something like that.
Morgan, Morgan then goes on to tell me she's keeping the house, his former best mate is moving in, and while they're out for the day happily shopping for fittings, Morgan must suffer the indignity of moving his shit out and selling the stuff they don't want on Gumtree to this guy. It's at this point of the story that Morgan starts crying. He breaks down, and I do not blame the man. It's fucking horrible, and I just want to give him a big hug and say, everything's going to be all right, Morgan. But I am holding the full weight of a bookshelf halfway down a set of stairs, and Morgan is the only thing stopping that bookshelf from caving my face in. I was like, Morgan! Morgan! And Morgan managed to pull himself together for about 8 seconds and then just went, bah, and let the bookshelf go. I fell backwards.
Man.
It literally rolled over me and took out the light hanging above the staircase. I'm now lying on my back, getting showered in broken glass. As the bookshelf turned end over end, it just went thonk right through a freshly painted wall at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, oh.
The description of that scenario is exactly as it would happen in real life. This is classic descriptive comedy storytelling right here. So real, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if some shit like this actually happened in somebody's life.
I got a tiny cut on my forehead, which is just pissing blood for some reason. Apart from that, I'm fine.
That's because all the blood rushes to your head, right? Oh man, a forehead cut will always have a bunch of blood, even if it's tiny. That's how wrestlers in WWE make themselves bleed so much, right?
Morgan, however, he's not fine. Morgan is the opposite of fine. Something happened when the bookshelf lodged itself in the wall, and his sadness just went away in a second, and he started pissing himself laughing. Hysterical. And he had the creepiest laugh I've ever heard in my life. I'm standing going, this is weird, and he's going, like some sort of demonically possessed baritone kookaburra. It's like, can I still have the bookshelf? He's like, we extracted from the wall. The bookshelf, incidentally, showing no sign of having just rolled down a staircase and smashed through a wall. We carried it out to my car. We had to stop about 6 times because Morgan was like, hang on a minute. We got it to my car, put it on the trailer, and Morgan was in such a great mood, he let me have the bookshelf for free.
Wow! Score! Classic, man.
And that's where the story should end. But there was something about the bookshelf going through the wall that flipped a fucking switch in Morgan's head, and he is now hungry for more destruction. So as I started tying the bookshelf down to my trailer, Morgan just strolls over to like an upright mailbox on the front lawn and just starts trying to wrench it out of the ground, just really putting his back into it.
He's finally snapped. That moment of, yep, I'm about to fuck this shit up. I feel it, man. I think everybody's had moments in their life where you just wanted to lay into an inanimate object to let off some steam, man. It can be healthy if nobody gets hurt, but I don't know what's about to happen here, man.
I'm like, you okay, buddy? He's like, yep. He pulls it out of the ground, whereupon he wields it like a fucking battle axe and just starts smashing up the front garden, just beheading the daisies, fucking up the lavender. I'm like, hey Morgan, maybe you want to stop and think about that. And he wheeled around and looked at me like Jack Nicholson chasing Shelley Duvall up the stairs in The Shining and said, why don't you mind your own fucking business? Yep, cool, man. Yep. Now, I like tying knots. I'm quite good at tying knots. If I tie something down, I take my time because I want it to stay there. But as Morgan nonchalantly strolled up the driveway, rolled up the garage door, and put the mailbox through the windscreen of an Audi?
He put it through that Audi. Oh, he's reached his peak. This is peak anger.
I must admit, I kind of rushed my knot tying job. I got in the car, I'm about to drive off. I'm like looking at the house going, I'm sure he'll be fine. And then an armchair smashed out of an upstairs window and just went doink, 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 doink down the front lawn. I was like, what's my duty of care in this situation? I didn't want to call the cops on him. I didn't want him to trash the house. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to talk to Morgan. So I got out, I walked up the driveway, shitting myself. You know when someone does something really violent and you're just like, fuck, we're not supposed to do shit like that. Yucky, just yucky feeling in my tum-tum. And I'm standing there in the garage, and there's like an adjoining door in the garage that leads into the house. I can see in through the door into the house, up the staircase. It's like a wooden staircase, and I'm standing in the garage just going, Morgan! Morgan! Like I was calling a cat for its dinner. Like, Morgan! Moggy, 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 moggy! And then I notice...
I want to know why he hasn't just freaking left. Just jetted out of there. He's so scared, but he's still in this situation now.
A small trickle of water start to come from the top step. And then a little bit more water, and then quite a lot of water. Just pissing down the stairs like a shitty water feature. I'm like, that can't be right. And then Morgan appeared on the top step holding a hammer like this. Bah! I was like, whoa! He's like, bah! Starts running at me, wielding the hammer, going, bah! I'm like, oh no, man, I just wanted to buy your bookshelf. He's like, bah! Runs straight past me. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, bah! Made a beeline for my car. I'm like, no, man, stop. He's like, stop it, just stop. He spins around and goes, I just checked my phone. She texted me 15 minutes ago saying she'll be here in 15 minutes. We gotta go. And gets into my car. Jesus.
Oh, man. That sucks. You should have left. You should have left.
Fuck me. I run down the lawn, get in the driver's seat. I'm like, what was with the water? He goes, I put plugs in all of the sinks and turned all the taps on. I'm like, that's fucked. He's like, just drive. I was like, nah. I took off so quick, rounded the corner at the end of his street, and the bookshelf just went, boosh, and exploded against the guardrail. Just exploded in a shower of badly tied knots and broken dreams. So me and Morgan just fucking left it there. Like a little breadcrumb for his ex-wife to find on the way home to her destroyed gingerbread house. I dropped Morgan at...
Morgan's fucking lost it, man. Oh, the bookshelf's destroyed, the house is destroyed, Morgan's on the run. He feels like a hostage even though he's not the one that's on the run. This situation is fucked, man.
The train station? I have never seen him again. And that, my friends, is why I no longer shop on Gumtree. Thank you very much.
Jesus Christ, man. Fucking hilarious right here. Crazy, man.
Fuck. You know my favourite bit of that story? I just made it up. Yeah, it's not true. There is no Morgan. It's very unsatisfying, isn't it? But I saw him in my head.
I think all of us did too. I think all of us saw him in our heads too with the description you were given.
Why is it we can feel so robbed when someone tells us a story we just heard isn't true, and yet so satisfied at the end of a fictional novel? You know the other great thing about that story? First draft. Fuck you, Hemingway!
Oh, man. Fucking awesome right here. I really enjoyed this a lot. This is a good stand-up routine right here. This was a good stand-up routine. I enjoy stuff like this a whole lot. Classic vibe to this comedy. Very descriptive, proper descriptions in this. Funny. This was good. I like the storytelling in this. This was very extended. I like how detailed he got. Like I said, it really allows you to engulf yourself into the hilarity of that type of situation and the true insanity of what is happening inside of a situation like that. I'm gonna leave a like on this video right here. This was fucking fun. Dr. Cap, thank you for some more stand-up on the channel. Like I said, guys, we can definitely have as much stand-up on here as you guys want. So if you guys want to request stuff that's stand-up, please feel free to leave it down in the comments. As always, I appreciate all of the requests. We have a long list to get through right now, but we're going to get through it all. I appreciate it. It'll keep us here for a long time. It'll keep us busy. It'll give us plenty of time to discuss the topics and the things going on in the world that we need to discuss. Mental health is another big thing, and I think comedy being a part of the channel could be very beneficial when it comes to the mental health side of things, because if we can provide a place where people can also just come and laugh their asses off too, that would be ideal for some of the videos that we put on here. That way we can really just spread some positive vibes and the smiles and laughter and uplift people who might be having a hard day. Comedy is a very essential thing as well as music, so I think having both of those on the channel is definitely a net positive when it comes to the type of content that we try to put on here and the type of vibes that we like to spread to each other on here. I really appreciate all of the requests. Like I said, it means the world to me to have you guys here. Thank you for building this community with me where we can share all the blessings with each other and spread the positive vibes with each other. It means the whole world to me that we can have this platform to do this. Like I said before, if you are going through anything in your life and you're struggling, feel free to reach out to us and ask us for some advice, as well as making sure that you get the professional help that is out there for you to get. That help is out there for a reason, and I can promise you it definitely works. It took me a lot of tries, about 5 tries, to quit drinking with rehab, but now I am 13 months sober from alcohol and almost 4 years sober from hard drugs. So it's a blessing to be able to get on here and tell people that they can do that too. I know it feels rare whenever you're inside of it to get out of it, but I promise you, you can do that and you can accomplish anything and be a better person. Grow every day, believe in your dreams, pull yourself out of those holes, you'll be amazed what you can achieve when you put yourself out there and truly believe in what you're doing. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for tuning in. The original video in the description, as always. I'm Vakasa Kavi. A reaction video a day or two. Keep the doctor away. Fuck those apples. Leave a like for me. Comment those suggestions. Subscribe up this way. Bang the notification bell for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you so much. Have a beautiful one. Thank you for everything. Peace.